32 points on 12 of 16 shooting right now.
No more. I know this, but this is Georgia Tech alum. Jose Alvarado has 20.
He has been incredible.
Incredible.
Games, yes. He really has.
38. I mean, hitting threes. He is really, and you can get that impact off the bench. And this is without Brandon Ingram. I'm believing in the Pelicans.
They literally have 3 guys off the bench with double figures today.
Seeing them up close, we had them on the center court game a few weeks ago, and being in the locker room and just watching the guys interact, the chemistry is for real. Zion, I think, after talking to him, is really ready to take that next leap, Smitty. Yes, we nitpick about his body. Well, his body's pretty solid. We nitpick sometimes about his defense. Coach Willie Green said, just give me the effort, because we know you can do it. Offensively, we're going to put you in that top of the key area, and you just go attack the paint and do what you do. He's shown us he's a better passer than we give him credit for, Smitty. Now it's all between his ears of just playing a certain way each night. And now C.J. McCollum is that professional in the locker room, on the practice court, in the game, willing to get his bucket. B.I. has it going. He has it going. Trey Murphy, the third, knock it down shot.
And again, they don't have B.I. They haven't had him the last 5 games.
The young kid, Dyson.
Daniels, yeah.
Man, he's another young guy that we kind of slept on draft nights. And you give our guy Dave Griffin scooping him up. Another young guy that can play. Yeah.
You know, Larry Nance Jr. right there, 13 points. On the flip side, though, you look at Phoenix. They're coming off a loss to Dallas, a big one. They got smoked by Boston in a huge statement game. They were down by 45 points at one point.
You being nice.
Right. And now you're in this game, again, with New Orleans passing it's the standings right now. They're still second, but these are another statement-type games. Maybe 3 losses in a row for them.
It's tough, too, because I know when Chris Paul missed those games, he could have come back, give you a couple, extra days, you get a little older. But Smitty knows this, Nabil, you've been around us long enough. Chemistry and timing, you just can't hit a switch.
Yep.
And you miss that many games, you expect to come back and be in rhythm right away. No, it doesn't happen that way. And the older we get, the harder it is to get back in that rhythm after missing 14, 15 games, right? And now you're asking other guys to do different things they haven't been doing all season long. They can hold down the fort for a game or two. But Smitty, you're asking the guy.
So good across the board, led by Zion Williamson in that 35 points. And we were talking about in the broadcast, this is developing into a rivalry. And it's moments like, and Smitty, I saw you kind of shaking your head and tell me if I'm wrong here. That Zion dunk, was that unnecessary to you at the end?
Well, it's just old school. I mean, I saw 3D relook. You saw Antonio Daniels on the call. Said, no. And
then Zion should have stopped and scored over the clock out and just don't bring extra animosity to the game. Now, you've done it. They're going to show that video many, many times. So now as a Pelican player, you know every time you step on the floor, someone's going to come at you now because you've opened up Pandora's box. That's just not the way old school basketball is. You're up, the game's over, just dribble it out because you know I'm going to see this team again down the road.
The Pelicans have never led the West at the 25-game mark ever. And now they've done that. You heard chants for MVP when Zion went to the line before that dunk. I don't think anyone's really talked about Zion in that MVP conversation just yet.
Not yet.
Is he starting to get there? I mean, hey, this team's first right now.
Team's first, but he hasn't. When he missed those games, his team was holding him fort down when he wasn't playing. So that's the part we can't give it all to him just yet. Continue what you're doing. We like what you're doing. You're doing a good job taking care of your body. And when the bright light's on you down the stretch, you're making MVP-type plays. I need to see a little bit more in the bill before I want to start putting in the MVP conversation.
We all know, and to 3D, I totally add and say yes. MVP talent, yes.
Right.
MVP play at times, yes. About 4, 5, 6, 7 more games, then definitely, for sure. Could he ever win MVP? Could win it this year.
Right.
He has that type of talent. It just, I think the body of work, all of it hasn't been there, but it's exciting to watch. And I do think, to go back to that, if you make that type of dunk and that statement at the end of the game, you do 1 or 2 things. You come to the press conference, say you apologize, or you don't say anything. But I think it's going to be asked because either you own it or you apologize.
Yeah, he wasn't asked on the broadcast there, but he is definitely going to be asked about that. It'll be interesting to see his reaction and what his thought process was, because it might be just the emotions of the game.
Yes, definitely emotions of the game, and we understand it. It's happened. It's not the first time it's ever happened. That's why the squirmage is there. So I don't want the viewers to think that we're overreacting to this. Is that when you do it, you just open up Pandora's box for now to be nitpicked the next time you play this team.
Gotta own it. Minnesota is taking on Utah. Rudy Gobert's already played his former team once, but he played them in Minnesota. Now he's in Utah.
Between the Suns and Pelicans, who win it in New Orleans tonight. Welcome to Suns Live Postgame, presented by Sweet James. Tom Leander and the legend, what did you think of the final seconds of that game?
Yeah, you know, I mean, whatever. I mean, we can talk about that all we want. He shouldn't have dunked it. He should have just let the clock run out. He did that. I'm glad he did that because now there's a little extra fire there. They flamed it. I mean, it's going. I want Busy in there on him next game. I want him on his back next game. One time.
You thunked. He shouldn't have dunked.
Oh, you're so good. Now you sound like me.
It sounds like us at halftime. Oh, man, the Suns downloaded 9 fourth-quarter threes to come back in this game. They were down 13 going to that final period. So from a mental health perspective, considering the last 2 games for the Suns, this helped.
It helped a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and the only
A run for the Suns to begin that fourth quarter. First place at stake. New Orleans hadn't been in first place since 2008 when Chris Paul was their starting point guard back then.
Yeah, I mean,
This team's legit,
you know,
and they did this without Brandon Ingram, who was missing his 6th straight game. They've now won 6 in a row, all without.
Well, and Kerry was saying bad blood. I don't think there's bad blood. I think there should be bad blood because these 2 teams are going to be battling all season long for that top spot. I would think so. I like it. I mean, mix it up. Don't like each other. You know, I don't need to exchange jerseys and give hugs. I mean, just walk by.
Things changed a little bit between Monty and Willie from the beginning of the game to the very end. Not like they were getting into it. I'm told that Eddie Johnson is ready, so let's go back to Smoothie King Center. How much of a carryover will those final seconds tonight have on Sunday afternoon in New Orleans, Eej?
Well, I think it'd have carryover, without a doubt. I thought what Zion did is, you know, according to the rules of the new generation, right? And even in our generation, we didn't like that. You don't do what he did. Like, you just don't do it. And he can dribble the clock out. I think he knows better, but he's so wrapped up with the crowd. I get it. The young man is finally healthy. He's rolling as a basketball player, so I'll give him some credit. But as I told you, as you all said, okay, put Busy in there. Put Ish in there.
There you go.
You know, and give him some hard fouls. If you want to do that, if you want to play that way, then fine. And so they probably need to do that because he's a load.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely is a load. I'm just sitting here looking at these stats, and it's crazy. I mean, the Suns shoot, what, 13 free throws? They shoot 35 free throws, it looks like. 35. I mean, Zion's free throw looks horrible, and yet it's going in for him this year, and that makes him double tough, Eddie. But for a guy you know is going to put the ball on the ground, he still puts the ball on the ground. He still goes by everybody who's in front of him, whether it's a guard or a big guy.
After that Zion dunk, want to change topics real quick here to Devin Booker. So Book finishes with 14 points. Now over the last 3 games, 15 of 47 from the field for Book. Is there any concern, or what do you see? I mean, Dyson Daniels was put in the starting lineup, and he's a good young talent, very athletic. I thought he gave Book fits at times, but now this is 3 games in a row, and you just don't see that from Book, who's one of the most consistent, potent scorers in the NBA.
I'll be a hypocrite if I start to say that somebody's stopping him one-on-one defensively. No. He's in a slump. And we've all been in a slump. And he's got to find a way to get out of it. He's as good as anybody that gets out of a slump. He does it in game a lot of the time. But right now, he's immersed into a bad rhythm. And he's got to find a way to get out of it. And I'm sure a part of that is going to be him finding a gym tonight somewhere, or him being in the gym early in the morning before practice. And not only just getting up shots, but getting up game shots, watching film to see what he's doing with his mechanics. Because I'm not thinking about them as defenders. No, that he got good looks, man. He just wasn't making the normal shots he normally makes. So I'm not going to throw that excuse out there. I think Devin would agree. He is immersed in a rhythm slump right now that he's having a hard time getting out of.
I'll tell you, Eddie, I mean, you can say that it's not the defenders, but I also have to say they've got some good young talent down there with the Pelicans. And we're talking about the guys who scored all the baskets, but Daniels, Marshall, and they don't even have Herb Jones out there right now, who's another defender. So they've put together a team that has stars and also role players that are really going to fill the gaps and do big things for them. And that also includes Larry Nance Jr.
Oh, look, don't get me wrong. They have very good defenders here, and their young role guys are very good. And what they might be doing is making Devin work harder. But we've seen this before. I can't just buy into the fact that defensively they're shutting him down. I just can't do that. I buy into the fact, I'm on up to it, that he's struggling.
Yep.
And in those struggles, he's got to find a way, get to the line, get layups, do all the things that we all have done that with scores to get our rhythm going. Because if he just plays 3/4 of Devin, we might win by 10 points tonight. I mean, that's how well we shot the ball from three. And it's unfortunate it didn't work out that way, even despite what Zion did. The Suns had a 1-point lead here in the fourth quarter. It just could not get stopped.
Chris Paul, second game back after missing 14 games with the heel injury. He goes 30.
Made some really silly passes, though.
Yeah.
And that's an issue as well. I mean, just like you can't throw cross-court passes. I don't, especially with Larry Nance on the other side. The guy jumps to the ceiling. It's like it's just those decisions I thought really in a really important part of the game that cost the Suns. And to give the Pelicans credit, their energy, their enthusiasm, McCollum started hitting some shots, the offensive glass.